Hi. Thanks to anyone listening right now. And just as a note, I think this is a perfect video to watch if you're going through any hardship, trouble, heartbreak, change, intense change, this feeling of feeling something's dying within you. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I feel all of these things, but because I'm lucky enough to have people trust me with their personal lives, and so I've been hearing a lot of the same themes, and so I've been paying attention to the narratives going on around me and the things that I guess want to come through me. And there's definitely what I like to call, I don't know, like archetypical themes going on. So what I mean by this is that as much as some of these things seem super personal and unique, they have this other level where they're connected to that it's things that are wanting to make sense through a lot of us, right? I really believe that we are coming into a new world. We could feel it. We can feel it, how time is passing different, how we imagine how things were years ago and nothing feels or looks the same. And so there's many things in our culture, in our world, that want to be reinterpreted or like make sense, things from gender, from relationships, from mother and daughter relationships on my side and many sides, couples relationships, friends relationships, and work. All these themes are like, we've gotten so much information and so much awareness and so much more consciousness in the last years that it's obvious that we need like a reinvention. Like what even makes sense anymore? What has meaning? There's a lot of questions that are kind of floating around, and they are being lived and answered through us, through our very lives, and we are the vessel for these things that want to come into our culture. And I just want to touch upon the subject of language. Everything's language. The way we relate with each other, everything is based in language. Terence McKenna, an ethnobotanist and like a psychedelic philosopher, he used to say something that stuck with me, and I've been understanding it deeper and deeper. He said language is a virus, and what he meant is that the minute we put an idea on the table, it starts spreading throughout us, and that's what makes culture. And we'd never know that if we're evolving these ideas or these ideas are evolving themselves, but it's like this continuous process of evolution, and that we don't have a handle on. And right now I think we're trying to get a handle on, but we don't know from where that's coming. A lot of it's coming out of fear, a lot of it's coming from being separate with each other. So there's definitely a fear in me that a lot of what's happening is both an opportunity to make sense of things together, and also a danger in losing sense between us. And so so I guess that's a weird introduction to whatever is gonna come next. I just wanted to show up in my pajamas, very vulnerable after I've cried a lot, and just try to be as transparent as possible, because I know that that's what I need when I'm with people, and I know that that's what many people need and appreciate, to know that we talk about life being hard and about shadow work and about digging deep, and it seems almost like we can't go deep enough. Like there's always more levels of depth, and if we don't open to them and we try to override them, they're just gonna grow. They're just gonna come in a time of our lives when life might be harder. So I think right now we're, the soonest we can get to it, the better, and the most gracefully we can get to it, the better. And that's why we can use each other. And I guess, I've read a lot of self-help throughout my life, and I've read all the classics since I was not all the classic. I've read some classics from the time I was young in the self-help space, and I was just talking to a friend about this and how it's no longer seemed to be doing it, you know. And how, I don't know, philosophy and fiction and art and so many other things do a way better job of getting the depth of what the human experience is, right? And not just like a recipe. And I think we're in a time, at least, you know, for my generation, that we were unaware of so many things, and then a lot of awareness came in the form of ideologies from the self-help world, from the political world, and now we're just like living off these sound bites and these pieces of information that we're just throwing out there to each other, but we don't even know where they come from or how they got to us or if they make sense. And for me, just the fact that so many people seem to meet in the same place, for me, it doesn't feel like a sign of unity. It feels like a sign of being like possessed by something external to us. And it's really refreshing and it's really refreshing to meet people that are speaking from an authentic place, you know. And to speak from an authentic place, we have to be willing to go into the depths of into our shadows for real. And obviously I'm saying that because I've been doing that myself, you know. For a while, and for 2 years I've been doing like really deep work, and there wasn't any solution to it, like no clear solution, no book, no advice that anybody could give me that would take me out of it. And I think that's the important thing, that we need to respect that each of us must go deep, and each of us must go deep in their own way, and we can be there for each other, and we definitely should find guidance and masters and people that have been down the path. But the path is completely ours, and it's gonna be way harder than it sounds, you know. I remember like all last year I was suffering deeply, and I was happy outside and I was well, and you know, I'm so lucky to have so many things, yet there was this process going on inside of me, definitely, and I could feel it, and I couldn't get out of it with anything external. And I knew that it was going to take the time that it took, you know, and I couldn't stand myself at some point. And yet I had to trust that at some point I would get to a new version of myself that would bring me to what I love to do the most, which is share love with others, and, or, you know, with the world, with whoever I can. And it took me such a long time to get there, and there were so many things wanting to lift me up from there. And you know, it's not good sometimes you just gotta really be patient. And what I want to communicate in this video is that you should have hope, and I hope you can feel it. And it's okay if you feel hopeless, and just keep 1% of your attention on hope. Just know that we're all in this together, but we are all alone in it too, right? But it's helped me a lot to know that so many more people are going through this. Like, you know, there's people that are hungry, there's people that are, you know, in war zones, and you know, there's people that are being abused and in bad relationships, and that have no support, and depression, and you know, everybody's living the suffering that's there, and we can turn it into gold. And that doesn't mean that we're gonna be happy. It just means that we're gonna come off better on the other side. And better sometimes can mean a lot of things, you know. It can mean with more virtue, for example, you know, learning how to be more patient, more integrated, more open, more conscious, more in tune with feelings, more compassionate. Like, I think there's definitely a lot of trust that has to go into these processes. And yeah, I think I just want to be another voice that is sharing how intense the human experience can be. And, you know, no judgment. whatever you were going through, like no judgment. That's the thing that you are supposed to be going through. You know, we all come to live a unique interpretation of this world, and to think that we should all think a certain way, vote a certain way, eat a certain way, and stick to any of this and stick to it for a long time, to me it seems very ridiculous. Because, you know, there's nothing in our biology, there's nothing in our DNA, there's nothing in our soul that has to be overwritten by our ideas and ideologies. It's unnatural, and we're here to change and progress. And the more we can die onto ourselves and what we thought, you know, we thought about yesterday, and be born again into other views of the world, I think the more we're gonna be compassionate with each other when people do this. You know, we're at a point where people say something wrong and we get mad at them because at one point they said something wrong, right? Or we judge people because maybe today they're spiritual and 5 years ago they weren't, and we're like, oh, you know, you used to do this or do that. So I think, yeah, we need to understand that you have to change at any point, and if you don't, you're probably holding on to narratives and to ideas that are preset from somewhere and got into you, and you gotta be really aware of this, because that's not being alive. That's just being host to a virus, basically. And you know, I don't see how else this can be done other than sitting with ourselves. You know, I mean, also therapies and all these moments, but they have to be moments that really bring us in contact with ourselves from within. You know, right now I'm working for an amazing woman that teaches about somatic intelligence and learning how to feel from within. And you know, I instantly understood what she was saying, because thank God I could understand this from a young age, because I had so much like physical pain and emotions going on, like many of us do. And so I think, yeah, when we start sensing the world from within, and instead of from outside, and that means that we take our time to sit within, which is the hardest thing in the world. Like, no judgment if you can't meditate, if you haven't gotten to it, if it's hard, if you've lost track of, you know, your practice. I've lost track for it for like 1.5 years, and no judgment. But yeah, I really don't think there's another way, because there's no other way to. All the rest is listening to the outside, and the outside is confused, it's transforming, it's throwing weird things out there. There's too much information going on. We're in the era of information. We're in a big era that's gonna last 28,000 something years, and it's all gonna be about the energy and information, and just like this other level of things, you know, that go beyond matter. And it's overwhelming, you know. And I guess a lot of you might know that I love studying psychedelics, both taking them, which I haven't done in a long time, and reading about them and meeting people that study them, and that, you know, authors, scientists, and people, just like any people that have had experiences with them. And I think they're so interesting, but they also get you into that space that's very confused right now. They also can get you into this whole energetical astral plane place where it's also a place outside yourself. That's the thing, you know. When you sit with yourself, there is a place that's filled with all of these you know, all of these archetypes, all of these things that we share as you know, the world, all of these things going on in the subconscious, collective subconscious. There's a lot going on. And then there's a part of it that's us, and it's our essence, and it's the soul, and it's connected to like what you would call the source, or like a completely different plane. And that's I think the one thing that you can tap into, get the most out of your authentic human experience, right? Without overriding this with other things, you know. And I think using plant medicine, using mushrooms and all of this, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, you know, because it's understanding that we're here in an ecological life, you know. We are Earth, and there's so many things that speak to us. But just like we were to at some point get away from our friends, our family, and our teachers to come in contact with us, we have to, we have to come in contact with us away from our plant teachers too, and just know ourselves. Because just like the mushroom has all these knowledge, and just like our moms have all these knowledge, and just like the archetype of Jesus Christ has all this knowledge, we have that much knowledge, and it has nothing to do with what we've learned in school and what's information. And there is something very deep to it, and I can say it because I felt it, and I've seen the wisdom in others. And we're in such a rush to study something or find something and immediately want to post it or make it like our way, like our livelihood, or make it like this thing that we immediately turn outside of ourselves. And I think a lot of us need to be aware of the long game. We're going into very, very, very hard to know places in the future, and I think it's important that we know that we have to build a relationship with ourselves, just so relationship with other people, with our work, with everything, it's gonna be something really, really amazing, and not something confused, unconscious, threatened by a world that's pushing so much towards you for you to consume ideas, consume products. There's definitely another way, and it takes very little. And so I didn't plan this at all, but I think I'm gonna guide a little meditation, so maybe we can get on a little bit in touch with this. So okay, you can either pause here or stay with me. So we're just gonna feel into ourselves. So breathing is clearly the best way to get in touch with ourselves. So just notice where in your body you feel breath the most. If you feel it as temperature through your nostrils, or if you feel it in the movement of your chest or belly. And really let go of any right way of breathing. Just let's see what is. Now, move your attention to your skin. Feel the temperature in your skin. Feel the fabric against your skin, the furniture, the ground. Try to scan yourself from the feet to the head, feeling your skin. So feel the skin on your feet. On your knees, along your legs, and keep going up. And while you do this, try to keep 10% of your attention on your breath. So we're breathing and we're feeling our skin. make your way up with your attention. Feel the skin in your face, your arms, your neck. And come back to your breathing. And try to do a couple of breaths where you're using the breath to soften yourself. Very soft, don't strain. And now we're gonna let our attention flow wherever it wants to go. You're gonna let it go. Just let it go, I'll bring you back. And just notice where it goes. Did it go to impatience, not wanting to be here? Did it go to a feeling of calm? Did your attention go to your body, to the future, to the past? Observe and stay with this observation. Just be aware of it. This is the first question we can begin practicing with. Where does my mind go? What pulls my attention? What pulls my attention? No need to answer, just notice. Come back to your breathing. Breathe deeply but softly this time. Very soft. And breathe out through your mouth. Again. And now I'm just gonna ask a question. You're gonna ask it. You're gonna ask this to yourself. You're gonna place a question. Ask yourself, what needs to be healed and tended to at this moment? What needs to be healed in me at this moment? And let your attention go where it wants to go. Don't strain. Don't find the answer, just see what comes up. Does it go to a sensation in your body, a part in your body? Does it go through the physical body? Does it go to an emotion that you might have to feel deeper? Does it go to an issue and something needs to be resolved with the mind? What can be healed now? And now that you have something that you can hold with your attention, that needs your attention, we're going to breathe into it. We're going to stay with it a little, trying not to judge, not to rush, not to try to resolve. We're just going to trust that our attention and our breathing are going to heal what needs to be healed. We're not looking for any specific results now. We're just ordering our entire being and body to do what it does. If it's a mental issue, it might be resolved through dreams, or it might come as an answer later on the day. If it's something physical, breathe into it. Bring oxygen to that place in your body. If it's emotional, give it space to be. Feel it without rushing out of it, and breathe. Stay with it just for a few seconds. And trust that it's done. And see if you can sense the power that, even though it might be dim because we haven't used it in a while or whatever, it's there. And just for the last seconds of this practice, let's try to open our ears to the inside and see if there's anything that wants to be said from within to our conscious mind. Anything is good, even silence, even a sense of rushing. It's all good. And as we finish this practice, just come back to whatever breathing feels good for you. And when you're ready, open your eyes as slow as you possibly can without losing that space within yourself, without losing the relationship you have right now with yourself. Try to integrate the world without losing yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, this went way longer than I thought, of course. And If you think of somebody that can use this today, just send it.